Dude, this is the idea. We are human beings. We are depraved.
Right.
Have you ever seen fucking monkeys at the zoo? How filthy they are. They're fisting each other. They're just drinking each other's piss. That's in us.
Right.
It exists within us. And the to cut yourself off. And I know you're not even suggesting that at all. But it's like, I think that the idea is the more that you can acknowledge not just the light side of yourself, but also the dark side of yourself, the more you'll find that balance that's represented in the yin-yang, which we should talk about since this podcast is about Daoism.
Isn't that the coolest symbol on earth?
Yes.
Whoever the Chinese man or woman who came up with the yin-yang symbol thousands of years ago, because it even predates the actual writing of the Tao Te Ching or the Taoist text, is my hero. Every time I look at them yin-yang, which by now is like the most typical, almost stereotypical image ever. People who have no idea what the fuck it is, tattoo it on their arms or whatever. And at the same time, if you're looking for symbols, it doesn't get any damn deeper than the yin-yang symbol. There are like 10,000 ways I can think of that's the most conceptually brilliant thing in the universe. But I don't know, give us one. What's your take on why do you dig the yin-yang symbol? What do you think?
Well, you're dealing with it's a binary, right? And it's so very simple, yet the interactions of those two energies are plenty to create the entire known universe,
right.
And so that's one reason I like it. It's freebasing my understanding of Taoism. And by the way, I think you should explain Taoism to people because I'm not going to be able to explain it in the right way.
Gladly.
But my understanding of it is, or before you go, I'll just say it reminds me of freebasing religion. It's like you've condensed everything in every religion down to its most simple, lightning or super hot core.
Right.
Which is why many people don't even know about Taoism, and many people just fucking ignore it because it's too goddamn simple.
Right.
Well,
simple
no,
and complicated.
It's so simple. It's fucking uber complex. So maybe you can explain it to people because that's as bad.
Yeah, there's a line by Lao Tzu, the mythological creator of the Tao Te Ching, because nobody knows who the hell really wrote it.
And doesn't Lao Tzu mean old boy?
Yeah, exactly. It's like that's a paradox in and of itself. I'm actually gonna go into his story in 1 second, but one line that come to mind in respect to what you are saying, there's this line that always cracks me up. He says, "My teachings are very easy to understand and very easy to practice. But nobody understands them and nobody practices them." It's beautiful, It's like Nietzsche put it as a subtitle of his book, a book for everyone and no one. It's like theoretically is really simple because it doesn't require any specific, strange, weird knowledge. It's the basic elements of life, but people are so distant from what's natural, from in a way the essence of things, that they complicate shit needlessly, and then something that is the simplest thing ever, they will never be able to get it because it's too rooted in, if you chase artificial crap all day long, you're not going to be able to look at something natural and simple and recognize it for what it is. But yeah, some of the stories about Taoism that are awesome is the guy supposedly wrote the Tao Te Ching, they name Lao Tzu, but as Duncan was mentioning, the translation is old boy, so it's not even a family name or anything. It's a paradox in and of itself. It's emphasizing this dude who's supposed to be really young and really old at the same time. There are some random mythological tales about him, from the guy who was supposed to have been born when he was 80 years old. So he popped out of his mom, an 80-year-old man with a beard, laughing, the opposite of everything that you're supposed to do when you're a baby, and you're clearly is a metaphor, nobody's taking that literally.
Yes.
Well, I hope. But the story about his life, at one point they say that nobody knows what he did or something. One possibility is that he worked in the Imperial Library, and when he was really old, he decided he was done. He was leaving town, but he had gained this following and this fame for being this brilliant, amazing philosopher, absolute genius. So a guard at the edge of town heard that he was about to leave, and he was like, aren't you going to leave something behind? Are you going to distill your teachings for those of you who haven't been able to listen to you? All my friends are telling me you're this amazing human being. Please write it down. I like to think about it for about 0.2 seconds and say, nah, sorry, man. I got other stuff to do. As big thank you, but no thanks. I'm out. The guard at the gate say, well, fuck you, Lotso. Sorry, because I'm the guard at the gate, and I'm not letting you out through the gate of town. Not only that, but there's actually a really comfy jail right here in the corner, and I'm gonna throw you in there. Here is some paper, here is a pen, or whatever the fuck people use in China 2,500 years ago to write. And so have fun working. When you're done, I'll open the gate and you can go, So the story of the Tao Te Ching is that supposedly come into being because the author got to be thrown in jail and has to come up with something good or he'll stay in jail. So for the next 3 days, he writes these 81 poems and then give them to the guard. Guard take a look, say, yeah, that's good shit. I like it. Okay, now you can go.
So this is, now here's an important thing, I think, a way for the people can apply this to their own life. Here's what that represents to me. What we have here is the samsara, the idea of the endless cycle of birth and death. Mm-hmm. We have humans, the idea that we are perpetually trapped in the material universe until we gain enlightenment or realization, right? And so you've got the gatekeeper,
right? The
guard, right? Who is trying to keep someone who is wisdom has reached this kind of what's the word? Perfect fermentation. Like it's right there, and he wants to leave. Mm-hmm. He's an old man. He's been in this city his entire life, this dimension that we're in now. And before he can split, it's almost as though there's some force in the universe. It's like, no. You gotta fucking leave a little bit behind,
right?
Or you're gonna have to stay here.
Right.
And so that's the idea, man. It's like so many people are trapped in their own fucking prison, trapped in their own weird, walled city,
right.
And they don't understand that. No, the moment you put out what you know in the right way, maybe that's when the gates open up.
Right.
Is this a real story? I don't think so. This sounds like
this is pure legend,
This feels encoded.
Yeah, it's legend. I don't think, again, nobody take anything historically seriously about. People even question whether it was one guy or multiple guy who contributed to writing the Tao Te Ching. Nobody knows for sure. But in a way, another side to that story is the fact that Taoists are renowned for being a bit hesitant to commit anything to paper, so to speak, because people then turn it into a dogma. Will misunderstand it, will turn it into a dogma, and will completely miss the point of what they are trying to say. So this idea is that communication face-to-face is one thing. Communication in any other fashion gets easily mistaken. That's why the very first line of the Tao Te Ching, there are a million translations out there, but one of the best translation say, the Tao that can be explained, is not the eternal Tao. And that's the first line, which could also be the last line, right? Because he said, sorry, can't be done. I can't explain it. Nobody can. Book is closed. No, that's just the beginning of the book. It's like once we understand each other, that words are limited, and people, you need to reach for the spirit behind those words more than get stuck in some little dogmatic battle with people about the true meaning of anything. Then we can have a chat on it. There's the other major Taoist thinker, Chuanzu, say the same thing but in funnier way. He said, where can I find a man who has forgotten words so that I can have a word with him? And again, his point is, once we understand that words are limited, we're using them to pass something else, energy, to pass something deeper, then we can use words,
Yes.
No biggie. But don't get stuck on the words, because that's how all stupid dogma is created.
Yeah.
And people miss the point, get attached to the letter of it all, and turn it into the opposite of what it's supposed to mean. So it's kind of funny that way, because that's why explaining Taoism in a way is impossible, because you can and you can't at the same time. You have to pass a vibe about Taoism. You sort of throw something out there. Like in Zen, they talk about the wise man pointing at the moon. And so the communication is like that pointing, trying to reach you. Look, it's the fucking moon right there. That's the deep spiritual. This is what we're talking about. And people get stuck looking at the finger, missing what they are trying to convey.
Or the old, I like to think of it in the form of people driving to the beach and not getting out of the car. It's like the whole point is to get, fucking have fun at the beach.
Yep.
And like imagine this is something I've been thinking about. Like, I don't know how to do this, but I've been wanting to shoot a video showing all the different what the religions would be like if they applied that same dogma to having fun at the beach.
Right.
Because they'd all have like different strict rules about it. You know what I mean? Like, there's only one way to have fun at the beach, or there's only one beach. Or like, can you imagine like sitting with kids and being like, no. This is the way that you build a sandcastle. This is the way we've been taught to build sandcastles. It's like all the fun of the beach is gone.
Right, of course.
So you have like with religion, you have the prophets, and the prophets seem to be people who were so fucking having such a great fucking time at the beach that all these people came around them to hang out with them because it's so fun. They're like, no, you can body surf. No one's done it before, but check it out. You can body surf on the waves. There's all these tricks you can do out here. It's a fucking blast. And then those people were like, oh my God, you're right. I didn't realize how much fun you could fucking have here. And then those people, they spread that. And finally, somehow through this, it just gets... The next thing you know, you've got a bunch of people who are sitting at the fucking beach in goddamn burqas.
Right.
Like they're sitting at the beach in fucking uncomfortable clothes, pretending to have fun.
Right. Yeah.
They stopped swimming in the water a long time ago. It's right there in front of them, but they're just like, no, I go in there. I go in the water. And with Daoism, it's like I can understand this idea, which is like, look, I could tell you what it's like to surf the wave I just surfed. But there's no fucking way that you're going to be able to apply the way I surf that wave to any other wave.
Right. And that's the beauty of Daoism right there. It's cool that you even use the water image because Daoists are huge in the image of water flowing. That's the point is you cannot apply the same rule to different situations. Everybody in the universe is looking for some simple recipe that they can follow in each situation. That's what all religions do. They give you a recipe. They give you the platform of do A, B, and C, and then life will be good. It won't be so scary. You won't fuck things up so bad. When you start following the recipe, you've already fucked up. It's because you're not in tune with the way things are, and you're going by somebody told me that this worked back then, so I should apply. And it probably did work back then, but it was a different context, different situation, different individuals involved. The whole point of Daoism is kind of like being around a great chef. I don't know if you guys ever had, somebody in your family who can cook really good or something. I remember asking my grandma for recipes. How do we make this thing that's so damn awesome? I want to eat it again. I want to learn how to do it myself. And she would be like, well, you put a little bit of this. And I'm like, what the fuck is a little bit? Give me numbers, give me something, and you let it cook for a while. I'm like, you're not helping me here. Let's go again. And the point is, when you have the nose for it, you don't need a damn recipe. You know what I mean? And Daoism, in a sense, is telling you rules are for people who are too stupid to live without rules.
Right.
So if you are that stupid, you do need rules, because otherwise you'll hurt yourself and others, and so you should stick to those rules. That's why the Taoist, somewhat elitist thing, they don't try to convince you to follow their way. All religions are trying to convince you to follow them. Taoists don't. More often than not, they try to say, you know what? Maybe it's too messy for you. Go play with Confucianism. It's safe for you. It's easier. It will help you not fuck things up too bad. Just be a good Confucianist. Don't try to play with us. You'd get hurt.
Yeah.
Because it requires sensitivity. A lot of Taoist idea require, which is ultimately what the Yin Yang symbol is about. Is the balance is constantly shifting. The whole idea of these opposite energies that are out there, which everything is made of opposites: man, woman. Light, darkness, and most religions categorize these things as good or evil, and that's completely fucking it up. It's missing the point that life is made of this opposite energy, that they work together, that they are...
Sometimes the jizz in the fleshlight is
I knew
white.
we were going back there.
Fresh and white.
Sometimes the jizz in the fleshlight is black.
Right.
Not white, turning black.
That's the Tao according to Drunken Trussell, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, the Tao of the flashlights. That's where we are. Yeah, and one of the things that I dig so much about the Yin Yang is that, unlike, according to most religions, if most religions were to design the same symbol, there would be these field of white, this field of black, and this one line in between separating the two, like the Berlin Wall or some shit. Forget the little dot in each field is like absolute good is absolute good, absolute evil is absolute evil, and they are like fighting each other constantly.
Right.
The yin yang, they are having sweet, tender sex with each other. You know, they have these two sides around this curve, and they are constantly, they are in play, they are in flux, they are mixing with each other, and the balance is constantly changing. That's why you cannot apply the same approach, the same balance of energy to all situations, because they are different. You know, in some cases you'll need 99% yang and just a tiny bit of yin. In some cases you'll need the opposite. In some cases it's 60-40. In some cases you need to, life is constantly changing, and so you need to be able to adapt to it constantly. And that to me is the beauty of it all, is that it's the most anti-dogmatic symbol ever in that sense, because it's about sensitivity and the ability to feel things and apply them in the moment. And of course, you can't really build a religion on that, because you're appealing to a very individual, subjective feel for how things are, which how are you going to... It goes back to, it's simple if you feel it. If you don't feel it, you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about, and it's complicated. And so that's that paradox of it's simple and complicated at the same time.
And people don't... Look, man, what you said about Confucianism is so true. There's just some people who ain't interested. No. They don't want that kind of trip.
Of course
they don't want that kind of safari. They want a Disneyland safari and a nice thing that goes by plastic dinosaurs and ends with a fucking soda.
Right.
They don't want to go out into the forest and really learn how to hunt. They don't want to go into the forest and start a fire.
Right. I mean, shit, if you're 2,500 years ago in China somewhere and somebody start going off about these things and you're like, dude, I'm a farmer and I have a sick goat and I want an altar so I can pray so that the gods heal my goat, and shut the fuck up about all this philosophy because you're just annoying me. You know?
That's it, man. Let me exist in the fucking in this simple structure that I can hang my actions on, because this other way that you're describing it is not appealing.
Yep, absolutely. So I don't know. I mean, I love this stuff so much, because to me it's about everything, and you don't have to be Taoist to be in tune with it. You know what? If anything, you shouldn't be Taoist, because that's missing the point.
Right.
And I don't know. It's like the theme of paradox, the theme of because I mean, paradox, people don't get it. They think it's a contradiction. It's a completely different thing from paradox. Paradox, in a way, is putting together things that most people keep separate. But just because most people keep it separate all the time doesn't mean it should be kept separate. And so paradox is not only hilariously funny, but is at the roots of how life is. You know,
yes.
Life is complicated and paradoxically, but take it away. Tell me about paradox.
Fuck yeah. The goddamn fusion, brother. We're talking about fusion here. You're talking about the result. Where, you know, I just found this out from watching Carl Sagan. Where do photons come from? Photons come from hydrogen particles being fused together in the super heat of the sun. It causes a photon to get released, and those photons from hydrogen being fused into helium are apparently what causes light to happen on this planet. So here we have a paradox, right? Here we have a fucking paradox that's resulting inside the sun, where disparate elements are being, and this is, like, by the way, the root of all life, and all everything is a result of the energy release coming from fusion reactions inside of fucking suns. If that ain't paradox, I don't know what is. Right. It's like this blending together of two things under super rarefied conditions is literally the source of all existence on the planet. So Daoism, so I think with Daoism, you would say that it's not imitating what's happening in the nuclear cores of sun, because I doubt Lao Tzu was aware of what that was. But the sun, or that thing that's happening, is a reflection of the Tao. Yep. It's a reflection of this transcendent, ever-shifting structure, and the way that from bringing these two different things together, which is paradox, which is one of the most beautiful things ever. Of course, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the fuel of novelty, right? Paradox is the recipe for novelty. Whenever one event and some completely disparate event meet, it always will create a brand new thing. Yeah. Which is why it's funny that he called himself Old Boy, right? Because to me, that is the definition of novelty. Because what is novelty? Novelty is something brand new happening within a universe that is infinitely old. You know, so that to me is why Lao Tzu is named after a paradox,
right.
because novelty is very, very old and brand new. And this is how I've always pictured God, is this thing that is constantly brand new, that's always replenishing itself in a completely
right.
new way, yet very old. Look at the fucking ocean. Waves.
Yep.
Waves are the ocean's so goddamn old, but every wave is brand new.
Exactly.
Every wave is totally different.
Yep.
And one of a kind. Yeah.
One of a kind. The ocean is an old boy.
Right, exactly.
The ocean is Lao Tzu.
The ocean is, we found him. We finally found him. Yes.
I knew it.
No, but it's true. And that's what, to me, the coolest part about this stuff and the yin yang and all of that is that everywhere I turn, I see it. You know what I mean? And not because I got hit in the head too many times and I seen funny, is because it literally is in all things. You know what I mean? And so that's why I dig it so much. And
you are it. You're the Tao talking. You're the Tao doing a podcast, right?
the one and only. Yes.
That'd be, man, how much would that suck if the Tao went on American Idol and you realize it's just like kind of a crappy singer?
Yeah, and you won second place.
No, you know, if anything's the Tao, you're it, man. You're really like tuned into something in a very specific way that I fucking love, man. With these conversations with you, man, they're so that you really are good at bringing me to like see things in ways I haven't seen them before. It's so refreshing, man. It's really cool.
And speaking of paradox, again, same conversation. We go from flashlight in dark places to the deep meaning of the universe to everything in between. That's a paradox right there. That's what makes it fun. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, as a comedian, I'm sure you get the paradox is funny. You know, that's
Always.
the coolness of it. Is combining these things that don't seem to mix.
Yeah.
Is hilarious.
It's a circuit, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it a circuit kind of like you're bringing together, like, isn't that what creates a circuit, is bringing negatively charged or things charged, like when you put batteries together,
Right.
It's the pluses and the negatives
Right.
that you're
Yep.
sticking together to create the energy release, you know?
Yin yang yet again.
Yeah.
Working right now in your batteries.
It's a circuit, you know, and it's fun to do that, you know. It's fun to introduce into your life new things that maybe shouldn't be there. This creates novelty, you know, like you go out into the world and you do something that you normally never would ever do. Very simple things you can do. You can give a bouquet of flowers to a complete stranger. You can out of the blue give a completely unexpected gift to a distant friend or someone that you don't even know. You can render all kinds of crazy service to people, and this introduces a brand new element not only into your life but into their life.
Right.
You know, and that can create some amazing sparks and amazing that can really bring magic into your life.
I like that you use the word sparks, because that really is the interactions that we have. It's sparks. Mm-hmm. And even if it's 30 years till you see somebody again, if it's a lasting, great 2 minutes, that's a spark that'll stick with you forever.
Right.
Because what you're talking about, the random flower bouquet, one thing I love to do, I have a $20 bill in my wallet at all times, and anytime, I don't care who he is, what he is, she is, if I see somebody putting $3 into their gas tank, I'll have to put 20 in.
Yeah! Fuck yeah!
And you know what's surprising? It's about 30% turn down rate too.
Some people don't.
I don't know if it's pride or what, but
some people aren't good at accepting. That's another thing, man. You can't just be the part that gives. You have to be the part that takes. And some people aren't good at being the part that takes. They don't understand that if they would just accept, because a lot of times, man, the universe is fucking banging on your door with a bouquet of flowers, a $20 bill, and a million other gifts, and you ain't opening it.
Yeah.
You're like, no, that's not the way. That's not the knock of the universe.
Oh, that's the old joke. The guy jumps into the middle of the ocean, and a boat comes by, so don't wait for God to save.
Oh.
Second boat comes by, wait for God to save me.
Yeah.
He drowns, gets up to heaven. God, where the fuck were you? I sent you 2 boats.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's it. Because people have in their minds the way it's gonna look.
Yes.
I know what my soulmate would be like, or I know what my friends would act like, or I know what a fucking enlightened person would be like, or I know what this and that. And this is why Taoism, again, emphasizes you can't know it. If you know it, you ruin it. If you know it, it's not what it is. If you know it, you've turned it into a rudimentary, infinitesimal pixel of how incredibly beautiful and potent and powerful it could be. You gotta fuck the fleshlight of life, people! Just because it looks like a can does not mean it's not a pussy! Man, I gotta get out of here.
That's beautiful, man. Thank you so much. Oh, one thing before I forget. Did they take care of you already? I have one. I'm thinking of...
Datsasura.
Yeah, he got you bags already?
I got a bag.
That's beautiful.
I love them. Datsasura.
Oh, yeah.
Is he sponsoring you?
He's cool. He's a nice guy, and he makes all these products made of hemp. He makes all these bags and stuff. We don't have a sponsorship or anything because he has no money either.
He will soon. dsgear.com. Check it out. These fucking bags are incredible. Go to dsgear.com. They're made of hemp. That means that they're resistant to microbes. They're great for the environment. They look fucking cool, and they're tough as fucking hell, man.
They're awesome.
It's my new favorite backpack, and they also have got like really weird different pockets that are very useful.
If you shoplift a lot, it's awesome.
It's great for shoplifting.
Yeah.
There's also a link on our site.
Yeah, there's a link on our site. That's what we did. We did an affiliate thing. So we have a link on our site. So, you guys are in the market for bags, computer bags, backpacks, whatever. Click it through our site. He's a cool guy. Good for him if he makes some money. Cool if you do it through our site, but either case, they are fun. Plus, when I'm carrying that stuff, I know, I get industrial hemp is not a drug, and there's no THC, and that's why it should be blah 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 blah. Still, the thought that it comes from hemp, and the thought that sometime I could just cut them up and try to smoke it makes me happy. Even though I know it's not gonna work, it still makes me happy. But and not to mention that the name that they come up with is a Japanese term, which I didn't even know there was such a term. Is a term for somebody who has abandoned corporate life. And I was like, oh, that's brilliant. That's an awesome name for a company.
It's beautiful. It represents freedom. And God damn it, man. I swear to God, I will have these types of bags for the rest of my life because they're fucking well made. And I rip backpacks to shreds. You guys definitely should check these things out.
Cool. Awesome. Well, Duncan, you're the man.
You're the man.
Rich, thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Cool.
That was fun, man.
Oh, that was awesome, dude. That was a good one, man. That was great, man.